Adoption is such a hot topic at the moment, and certainly as a filmmaker, it's my intention to explore this idea, but particularly within the relationship of the couple in the film. So it's political and it's passionate for me, but certainly I sit on the fence about the issue. It's such a complex issue, and I don't think there is one answer. And in the film, it's really about seeing how a couple are affected by the protracted waiting period to receive a child, and how that can inevitably crack open a relationship and force vulnerabilities to come to the surface. The film is a collection of a number of different inspirations, personal experience, research and interviews that I did with couples both in Calcutta and when I returned to Australia. It's a collection of different ideas, different emotional experiences that I kind of sat with and thought, well, that would be something worth exploring as an idea, as a dramatic idea, the idea of waiting for a child and what can happen when you really want something and you just can't get it, what happens to you during that experience. So the film is really a collection of all those kinds of different inspirations, and essentially adoption isn't a kind of Indian issue or a Calcuttan issue, it's a world issue. And the rights of the child is a world issue, and thinking about those things in a kind of global sense hopefully makes the film a universal story, an adventure story, a road movie of sorts, but also fundamentally a love story. I've been to India probably about 12 times all up, and before we made the movie I'd travelled to Calcutta a number of times. The first time I came to Calcutta was to do the work that I did with my younger sister in the slums of Calcutta, and we just fell in love with the city and kept returning to India for a number of years after that point. And so really it's really been probably about, you know, a number of years of accumulated experiences and people that I've met, friends that I've made in the city, as well as couples that have shared intimate kind of stories with me about their experiences, to their journeys to parenthood, and how that's formed the kind of seed of the idea. The Waiting City is a performance-driven film, and it was really important to have great cast. I always wanted Radha Mitchell attached because she has this strong connection to India, having travelled there since she was a child, and I was lucky enough to have her attached to the film quite early, and so the snowball kind of started from there. And the thing that really attracted me to attaching Radha is that she has both this strong connection and deep understanding of India, so that her character, who's the sort of strong type A female, very strong and assertive kind of woman, when she comes to India she thinks she can control the process, but as the journey progresses, a lot of things that she's kind of maybe not had time to deal with in her own life back home start to bubble to the surface, and she's forced to kind of transform in some ways her whole worldview by virtue of her relationship to India. And I knew that Radha would really be able to find an access point into that quite complex emotional journey. Finding the character of Ben was a little bit more tricky because we needed a kind of a man-child, someone who could be kind of manly and likeable, even though in many ways at the beginning of the film he's the weaker part of the relationship. He's sort of not performing in the way that he possibly should be in the relationship. He's a bit depressed, and there's a number of things going on for him emotionally, but throughout the course of the movie he kind of steps up to the plate and has as well a kind of transformation, a change of heart. So Joel Edgerton is just the perfect person to play this role, because not only is he so funny and likeable, the audience hopefully goes with him on the journey, because he can kind of play low stakes or low status and still be very likeable throughout that journey. And also the big clincher for me is that Joel can also sing and play guitar, which was a big component of his role. And then thirdly, Isabel. She's such a luminous, beautiful, ethereal young actress, and I really wanted there to be every edge of the kind of relationship between the married couple kind of touched on and kind of explored. And Isabel just seemed like she had an innocence and a guileless quality to her that would feel as though she could be a rival, but in some ways perhaps not be aware of her power. And I think Isabel brought such a beautiful, magical quality to the film as well.